This is your place for news, talk, and information, your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Hey, thanks for joining us. This is Arif Halaby, Total Financial Solutions, Save for Money Hour, coming to you every week at this time, talking about your family's finances, getting out of debt, managing money, planning for your future. Look, one of the most important parts about your future is making sure you have companies and industries and people in your life that make it fun and exciting. Because when you retire, it's not just about accumulating stuff. For most of us, our whole life we're accumulating things. But the experiences, the relationships, I think that makes about 80, 90, 100% of our life, especially in retirement. And so as we go through that part of our life, I don't want you to wait till you retire to start surrounding yourself with the right organizations, people, companies. I want you to do it now. And so that's what we've done. So this week and last week, you're listening to Arif's Top 13 of 2013. What is that all about? It's about the organizations and the people that have made my life, my family's life, and our company's life a lot better in 2013. I want to share it with you because I think overall, those same individuals, those same companies can make a difference in your life in 2014. So joining us on SCV TV, go to Channel 20 on your local Time Warner Cable, and of course on Dish Network. We are there as well. Check your local listings. You're going to see us, right now, me, but along with Jeri Goldman, owner of KHTS Radio, your hometown station. Jeri, hey, I know this is a surprise to you, but for a lot of reasons, maybe it shouldn't be, because the difference that you made in our life, next week will be 10 years on your hometown station doing this show.
Realize that.
Yeah, isn't that
Pretty
amazing?
incredible.
So by doing that, besides the last 10 years, I started when I was 20. Not.
And I was 18.
Yeah. Started 10 years ago, not knowing a whole lot about radio, being interviewed a few times and understanding it, of course, from a consumer perspective. But one of the things that you did for me and my family are pretty incredible. It took a few months for you to kind of warm up to me and to what we do here, because there were a lot of other shows happening, and we were just a piece of that. But you stepped in and we had a conversation, and you said, Arif, I like what you do. I like what you stand for. Would you like to ride the wave with us? And I said, well, what do you mean? And you said, well, I think you can be big in this town. People will listen to your shows. You have a lot of good things to say. But more importantly, you can make a difference in people's lives. And I thought for a moment, and I saw an example of what you and your husband do for this radio station and for the community. And I thought if I could have just a small part and a small piece of that, it could make a difference in my life. And so you did, and you did that 10 years ago. And that was a pretty exciting thing now to be a close friend and family, if you will, to us.
Absolutely.
Tell me about the difference that you think other organizations have made in KHTS's life, because we're going to start there, and then I want to go and morph into what you see as why KHTS is so important in the community. What is your perspective of that?
I think that Carl and I raised our kids here in the public school system, and we saw this as Mayberry RFD and wanted to keep it that way. I grew up in the Valley and lived up here for a short time in my early 20s, and then moved back to the Valley and realized what a jewel this was. And if we can take care of our community and the people in it, then we're going to have that Mayberry RFD feeling forever. But it's up to us. And we've got to make that stand. We can't rely on the next person to do that.
That's important, Jeri, because I've seen that.
And there's a handful of people in the community that get this. And a handful of people that can actually, and I don't remember the conversation of take the ride, but can make that difference. And in approaching you, you were one of those people that can make that difference. I mean, through the years, whether it was our Christmas dream or your kids out painting habitat houses with us. One thing we never publicized was our Christmas dream, where we made a difference every Christmas with families in the community that were undergoing something that was traumatic.
Yeah.
And we would go out shopping and, spend a day delivering gifts, and some of that stuff was so impactful. But
yeah, that was you
have to be that person that can do it.
Well, I see a difference. Well, thank you. I'll tell you, the difference that you've made in our lives is beyond just the local, the local presence. But, we had an amazing year last year, our best year in our company's history times 2. And that's a pretty incredible thing to say and to be a part of. And that is why I think there's such a humbleness that we have as a company, and that I have personally, to remember the people and the organizations that sometimes we make a phone call and say, hey, we need to do X. Can you help? Or there's somebody that's suffering. Can we make a difference? And one of the things that KHTS did is they did a lot of behind the scenes. And Jeri, if there's a cause or a group of people that need something, the old adage of if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. You know, I think that's both of us. As my staff are always kind of circling around me trying to figure things out, I see that with you as well. And that difference that you made in people's lives is huge. But more importantly, in me and my family, it started with this. It started with the basis of saying, what do you have control of? What do you have power of? What can you do? Well, certainly you look around the radio station and say, this is what I have. You don't have a megaphone any different than I think the largest in our community, which is by far in the last 10 years has passed any of the print media that we have in Santa Clarita. And you've taken that and have done some good things to that. What do you see as the future of Santa Clarita and the future of small business here in Santa Clarita?
I feel that we were going to come out of this when the housing gets back up to speed, and that's already happening. I know we're in a newer neighborhood, and they can't build houses quick enough.
Oh, wow.
So that's a really good sign. I think that when employers get adjusted to the Obamacare, which is a little frightening for some of them right now, that will shift, and people will not feel controlled by some of the government. I think that's the biggest thing is if you know that you have control of your own destiny, you can make that difference.
Yes.
Then that's the whole thing. It's last year you and I worked on the Vietnam Wall. That was back in September. Mark, who's board opting for us, videotaped it. There's not a week go by where I've got someone coming up to me, thanking me because they got an opportunity that they haven't had for decades of not being able to heal. And that 4-day weekend, even though it was a huge feat to put on,
yes,
made such a difference. And, our son just got back from Afghanistan, and we got a couple short days with him. And, I was trying to explain to him, I'm doing this stuff because of what I see, what you and your friends are doing. And I don't want the Vietnam era to go by. But whatever we do, whether it's the Providence Holy Cross Board, you coming aboard on that, there were so many cool programs that we were able to incorporate. The Art of Healing program, where we got, that was from my mom going through chemo and sitting there for hours in a hospital room, doodling. But that had a huge impact on the whole community.
Yeah.
So if we can keep having that impact, then we're going to have the third largest, city in LA, but that still may bury our feeling.
Folks, one of the things that's very exciting is that this is your backyard. The hardest part of Santa Clarita is if you grew up here or if you understand that you're from here and this is all you really understand, you don't realize what it's like in the big bad world. You don't understand, and I know that's impossible for my children to understand growing up here in Santa Clarita, but take a look at this. Take a look at what we do in Santa Clarita. Hometownstation.com is the kernel of what we do. It's the nucleus. And here's a community, whether you're involved in sports, we have a great, incredible sports broadcasting program here in Santa Clarita, and scores are updated regularly, or whether it's local music or talk shows. It's a wonderful place for you to learn a little bit about your community and keep it small. I want to thank you, Jeri, for coming on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. One of Arif's top 13 of 2013. We'll be back in just a minute. You're listening to me, Arif Halaby, on Total Financial Solutions. Save for Money Hour. We'll be right back.